is available in high definition.
Welcome to the gateway to Ontario's cottage country, where people come to rest, relax, and enjoy the sounds of summer. Tonight at Barrie Speedway, we'll wind them up, roar them up, and 21 cars will tear it up.
The 1/3 mile oval of Barrie Speedway is one rough and tumble bull ring. The racing action is non-stop, bumper to bumper, and sometimes nose to door panel. The walls can come at you in a hurry at this fierce battleground of speed and excitement. One competitor who has tamed Barrie and the competition is DJ Kennington. Last year, the Castrol Kid dominated both events, winning each time. Can the number 17 Syntec Dodge be triumphant again? Welcome to round 3 of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, presented by Sirius Satellite Radio on TSN. From Barrie Speedway in Ottawa, Ontario, this is the A&W 300. Hello and welcome. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me is Billy Rouse Jr. and Todd Lewis is trackside. Billy, Mother Nature has been hard on us this season. Of course, we had the rain out in St. Eustache, and then Mosport ended with some terrible weather. Here, rain has been floating in and out of the area, but it looks pretty nice now.
Mosport last weekend, that just added some excitement to the racing with the rain at the end there. But you know what? The clouds have been in and out here today. But it is Canada Day weekend. Ontario long weekend. You got to expect a little tough weather. But it's sun's out now. It's going to come. The fans are all here waiting to see a great race. And that's what they're going to see here at this little speed plant. Some exciting racing.
Absolutely. And one driver who's had his stuff together so far this season is the 22 of Scott Steckley. A 42-point cushion on Peter Gibbons. And, of course, J.R. Fitzpatrick and Don Thompson Jr., his teammate, they're both in the hunt as well.
Wow, the 22 car, Scott Steckley, what can you say? Unsponsored, running really well. His confidence level is up. You know what? He's always been a good little driver. They got good equipment, but the real deal is Greg Gibson, his crew chief, now has the communication down pat. Preparation's good, and they're running strong.
J.R. Fitzpatrick, another driver who's running strong to start the season, picked up the win at Mosport, but you know what? They didn't sit idle, made some changes. And with J.R. now is our very own Todd Lewis. Todd?
Thanks, Dave. Well, it's been discussed at Fitzpatrick Motorsports for a little while, but J.R. Fitzpatrick and the team got themselves a new Dodge this past week. Actually, it's a proven Dodge. DJ Kennington won in this car twice here at Barrie Speedway last year. They like the power. They tested it at Flamborough Speedway earlier this week. Still a lot to learn. We'll see how this split team with J.R. in the Dodge and Johnny in the Chevrolet lasts. Guys?
Thanks, Todd. Well, Billy, what do you think of that?
Wow, what can you say? We just won a race on the road course with a Chevrolet, and we turned to Dodge. But as a racer, I want to tell you why, at least what I believe why. Mopar puts a lot of money into the program, but even before we get to the money, you only need to look up and down pit road and understand Mopar motors are strong. They make more torque than a Chevrolet, and they make a little more horsepower. Back to Mopar. They put money into finishing positions. Money buys speed. JR likes speed. Welcome to Dodge.
Well, let's get this one underway. We'll send it down trackside for the command to start your engines.
How about the words we've been waiting for?
Gentlemen, start your engines.
A&W's Roger Barnes and NASCAR legend Bobby Allison give the command as Don Thompson Jr., your pole sitter, fires up his number 4 Home Hardware Chevy.
And alongside him, Mr. Consistency, Scott Steckley, and our reigning champion, Andrew Ranger. So it's Chevrolet, Dodge, and Ford up front.
And there's DJ Kennington, that cool Castrol Syntec paint scheme. He sits in 4th. We'll have 7 onboard cameras here for you tonight. One in the A&W Monte Carlo of Jason White. Also have an onboard camera in the Mopar Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Well, Dave, a new track record was set here tonight for the A&W 300, and Don Thompson Jr., who is no stranger to fast times, captured his 2nd pole of the season.
Well, the Hamilton, Ontario native circled this 1/3 of a mile tri-oval in a time of 13.903 seconds. He and Scott Steckley are on the front row of tonight's Dupla Colors starting grid as the cars start to roll off in their formation lap. Row number 2 brings us Andrew Ranger, and there is DJ Kennington in the 17. Row 3 has Dave Whitlock in the 39. Kerry Mix drives the 02. He'll start to the outside of row number 3. Mark Dilley, Barrie native, in the number 9, and Brad Graham in the 19 make up row number 4 here tonight. Anthony Simone, rookie, in the number 95, and Derek Lynch in the 77 start in row 5. Row 6 has another Barrie native, John Gunn, in the 12, and J.R. Fitzpatrick, his first run into Dodge. Alex Tagliani in the 7, and Ron Beauchamp Jr. in the 60 make up row number 7. And then look back to row number 8, Peter Gibbons in the number 1, and Jason Hathaway in the 3. Row number 9 brings us Kent Noon in the 18, Joey McColm in the 56. He cut his teeth here at Barrie Speedway. Doug Brown in the number 10, and Jim Lapsevich in the 25, starting row number 10. And then in row number 11, Jason White in the A&W Monte Carlo.
So Dave, let's take a look at the Allied Steel Buildings race analysis for tonight. We're going to start 21 cars. They're going to go 300 laps in this tight little bull ring. I suspect one stop for tires and fuel.
And Billy, as we mentioned, it was raining earlier today. That's made it very, very humid here this evening. 25 degrees, so it's awfully hot out. That'll play a factor here as well. With some news and one of the newcomers to the series, let's throw it down pit side. Here's Todd.
Fellas, couple of notes on our top qualifying rookie, Anthony Simoni of the number 95 car. Never been to this track before, and it could be a handful. Said it took him a few laps to learn it, but he's starting to feel really comfortable, and he was very careful during qualifying. Got himself the 9th qualifying spot, but he said he had lots of speed left. Look for him to try to get up towards the front as we move along tonight.
That's just one of the many drivers to keep an eye on as the field makes its way through corners 3 and 4. Don Thompson Jr., Scott Steckley, Sean Gibbs waves the green, and we are going the AW 300.
Steckley got an awesome jump off that outside front row, and he'll lead down the backstretch.
Steckley with Thompson in behind through 3 and 4 for the first time. Looks like Scott Steckley is going to pick up 5 bonus points, all important for the Castrol points race. For your points leader, Scott Steckley, and we're bumping and nudging already.
Wow, Andrew Ranger just roughing up DJ Kemmington in that 17 Dodge.
Kennington now stuck on the outside as Kerry Mix in the Beyond Digital Imaging 02 hooks his nose in as we take a look at the Duplicolor wall cam.
Well, I hear all that horsepower go by in that front stretch. This is awesome so far.
Last year's champion Andrew Ranger in the Walmart 27 Ford Fusion sits now in 3rd place, chasing the 2 leaders who have opened up a little bit of a gap on the rest of the field. About 3 or 4 car lengths now.
That's on board with Dave Whitlock looking back at his teammate of Mark Dilley. Mark Dilley's got hundreds of laps at this little bull ring.
Half a car back.
Here's spotters, and spotters all important here at the track. Such a tight track, I was going to mention. How important is it to rely on those spotters to tell you where cars are?
Well, with the new containment seats, Dave, and so fast this racetrack is, you rely totally on the spotter. You can look in the mirror, but if you look in the mirror, you could be in the back of the car in front of you, so you rely 100% on what that man tells you, or woman.
Kerry Mix moving, you mentioned a woman, Susan Mix, a spotter on the 02 car. Kerry Mix as he moves that Ford Fusion up into 3rd spot past Andrew Ranger. Now Ranger's the one on the high side as Kennington comes through and puts a Syntec Dodge into 4th spot.
Oh, Kerry Mix, just a wily veteran. He cut his teeth on these little bull rings. Barrie, Sunset, Sauble. He knows how to get around these short tracks.
Inside.
Andrew Ranger getting shoveled back a couple more spots as Mark Dilley dives underneath his teammate Dave Whitlock in the Dickies number 39. Also goes through to pick up a spot, but there is a gap behind Dilley. Now Ranger takes advantage and gets down in behind that number 9 Dodge.
Oh, Ranger getting a little bit of the chrome horn as well.
So the lead continues to be held by the 22 of Scott Steckley, followed by Don Thompson Jr. There's a battle for 11th spot with Derek Lynch and Ron Beauchamp Jr., the Allied Steel Buildings. Number 77 of Lynch has that 11th spot. Jason Hathaway in there too.
Well, we talked earlier. Whoa, Beauchamp gets loose going to the corner. He goes off the front end of the 3 car into the 3rd corner, and he takes over the spot.
So now Beauchamp takes a look at the 3 of Jason Hathaway as Hathaway sits in 12th spot. Beauchamp tries to regain his composure and get that rhythm back. Billy, how tough is it to get that rhythm back once you've lost it?
Well, the crew chief, the spotter, got to get on the radio right away, calm their driver down, get them to hit their marks so they don't get freight trained like's happening right now to Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Did you see how close Peter Gibbons got to that inside wall coming off of 4? He's trying to dive underneath the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick, looking for a way by as his 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. falls all the way back to 16th now. So he really has to get back into that rhythm, or it could be trouble on that Mopar Dodge.
Well, Ron Beauchamp Jr., good little driver, lots of talent, but they're just missed the mark here on the chassis, that's for sure.
Definitely trouble in the Lucas Oil 56 of Joey McColm, well off the pace on the front straightaway, and this will call for the first caution of the evening, and trouble at 4 as well as Beauchamp goes around in the Mopar Dodge. So McComb slows into corner 1 and Beauchamp spins in turn 4 as the caution flag waves here in the A&W 300.
Well, some unfortunate circumstances for sure, but we're seeing guys race like it's the last lap, not so early in the race. We'll be back with more in the 300.